I've always had a deep passion for the American Western culture. I guess it started as a child, a product of the late 60s and 70s, with shows like Tales of Wells Fargo, The Rifleman, Bonanza, and Gunsmoke. Those shows romanticized the Old West and made me long to be part of it. As a teenager growing up in northern Maine, I white-tailed deer hunted with a Winchester Model 94 30-30, and I imagined life on the frontier. As the years went by, I found myself out west, exploring the world of air guns and loving their abilities and the hunting challenges they possessed. I've been looking for a lever action air rifle for years that could check off the boxes of what I needed in an air gun. I needed a pre-charged pneumatic rifle over a CO2, which is too temperature regulated, meaning if the weather got cold, you lost performance. Also, there weren't any multi-pump air rifles that even fit the requirement that I was looking for. When the Seneca Eagle Claw hit the market, I figured my time had come to merge the two worlds that I love together. Let's explore the Seneca Eagle Claw in 25 cal and see if we can bring the Old West feel merged with modern technology. I really love coming out here and relaxing. There's just something about coming out to the wilderness. There's an energy out here that you just don't get in an urban area, and it just revitalizes the soul. And it's not about coming out here hunting, it's about communion with nature and its surroundings, being one. And I just love being part of this. Let's talk about the Eagle Claw for a little bit. Let's talk about the weight of the gun. 8.7 pounds. That is pretty hefty for a hunting rifle to be carrying around at 6,000 feet elevation up here in the mountains. They easily could have fixed that by adding sling studs to the stock. Just a simple, inexpensive item would have gone a long way to be able to help transport and carry that rifle around here in the woods. And that's just the rifle without the scope. You're adding optics. Now you're talking 10 pounds, 11 poundish. Carrying all day can get real tiring. So if they're listening, I would put sling studs on the stock of this. Next, let's talk about the regulator. There is none. So a gun of this price range nowadays needs to have a regulator on it. There are guns that are in a lot cheaper price range that have regulators. What is the regulator going to do? Well, it's going to give you consistent airflow. So your shot count, one, is going to probably improve. Two, you're going to have more consistent shots, especially when you're hunting. Without a regulator, you're going to have this bell curve. Now, this air gun, when it's fully charged, you charge it up to 3,000 psi. That's great, especially if you only have a hand pump. But nowadays, most people have access to high pressure air compressors. You can fill up a pony bottle like I did, bring it out here in the woods, and it just extends your stay out here in the woods. With a regulator, that shot count would have went up probably almost doubled. And we're looking at them, and look at my show notes, about a 25 shot per fill. And I was averaging that shot count without a regulator. With a regulator, I guarantee I would probably get about 40 shots, and they would be really consistent. Let's talk about the multiple power settings of this air gun. You have low, medium, and high. I kept it on high. A lot of folks are only interested in the maximum output of the air gun. As you can see in the chrony testing, I'm shooting 25 grain JSB Diabolos. That seems to be the best pellet that works great in a variety of different air guns that I have. I was getting in the high 8s, low 9s. Now the factory says that you're going to get around 970 feet per second. That might be with a very light pellet. I seem to like the sweet spot around 900 feet per second. It seems to hit the mark on that. With a regulator, I think this gun would be taken to the next level though. And I would really like to see if they come out with a Gen 2, add a regulator in there. It's going to be a game changer on this gun. The trigger is a 2-stage trigger. There's not a lot of creep in that trigger, as you can see. And when it does break, it breaks abrupt, just like glass. I had no problem with the trigger. On a hunting gun, I'm not looking at some sort of match grade, competitive bench rest type, pound and a half trigger pull. Somewhere around 3 to 4 pounds, perfect. And I never had an issue with the trigger on this gun. Let's talk about the breech for a second. It has a Weaver Picatinny rail on there, and you have a lot of options to be able to adjust the optics forward and aft on the breech depending on your shooting style. So for hunting, for bench rest, there's a little bit of something for everybody, and you're going to have a ton of options to be able to slide back and forth with your optics with this breech. The gun has a shrouded barrel. It is baffled. Out here hunting, it seemed relatively quiet. I don't know if I would use it as, quote, a backyard plinker in an urban environment. If you lived on the edge of town or out on a homestead or a ranch or a farm, then you could shoot all day, no problem about the noise. But out here in the woods as a hunting rifle, I didn't see where the noise was really intrusive at all. We're going to have to do a sound test on this later on to see what the actual decibel reading is, but I had no issue with the sound of the report of this air rifle. The air cylinder is 460 cc, 3000 psi max fill, has a Foster fitting. I like a Foster fitting. I do not like fill probes. I'm the type of person where I'm going to drop it, and if you drop it out here, you're going to lose that fill probe. It's just gone. Then dirt, all sorts of dust and debris gets inside your air system, and it just wreaks havoc. Foster fittings work great. They're universal. It's nice to see that on there. Having a 460cc air tube on there is nice as well. We're getting 25 shots. And like I said earlier, you can use it with a hand pump also. So if you don't have the budget right now for a high pressure air compressor, but you do have access to a hand pump, you can pump it up. Now, it's going to take you a while. We're going to tell you real world, and you're going to have to take your time and let that hand pump cool down so you don't wind up overheating it and destroying the O-rings in there. But it can be done. And that's one good thing about having a fill bottle with you. Having that small pony bottle come out here, I'm getting roughly 25 shots with this air gun. Once I start coming off the bell curve, I charge it back up. I don't have to charge it all the way up to 3,000 psi. Usually that sweet spot about 2,800 psi seems to work really good. That way I don't have that extreme bell on there. And coming out the gate, I have good consistent shots. So without a regulator, you have to use your head a little bit and not overfill your air gun, because you're just wasting air if you do. The question I posed: do lever action air rifles have a place in the community? I think they do. I think Seneca is onto something with the Eagle Claw, and they've been around for a while. And I just know that in the next year or two, the way that technology is improving, one with 3D modeling, CNC machines, even the metals that they put in to these air guns, that they're going to be able to do great things. I like the fact that we're able to blend that old world Western feel into today's modern technology. It just takes me back to when I was a kid growing up in northern Maine and just having a great time out in the woods. Well, folks, it has been a pleasure to produce this video for you folks today. There's nothing I love more than to be able to talk about the Western culture and air guns and come out here in my backwoods playground and just have fun all day long. I'm glad that you had a chance to come out here with me and share this experience today, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care, folks.